start doing the math. So let's go to our paper. Remember, you already have the title down, right, Latif? You got the title down on the paper? Yeah, sweet. Of course he doesn't. I know, I can see it from here. Trying to focus, not being successful. Oh. I want you to write down the word difference. And we're going to spend a lot of time this semester taking English and putting it into math, because math is like its own language. And you can typically translate one thing to another. What word in math means the same as difference? Subtract. And then we can take that math word and we can go even further and we can turn it into a symbol. Because remember, mathematicians, we don't like words. Number one, they scare us because they're really long. Number two, then now you're dependent on speaking English. Where with math notation, it's a universal language. If anyone doesn't speak English, they're A-OK. So what can I turn subtract into mathematically? The little subtraction sign. That's step two, is figure out what you're doing mathematically. What am I doing? I'm subtracting. So I'm going to take negative 22 and minus 19.5. Visual people, you might want to do a number line. It's completely up to you if you're a number line person or not. To do integers on the number line, we're going to start at negative 22. If we are subtracting, we are going to go towards the left. If we are adding, we are going to go towards the right. So we're going towards the left because we're subtracting, and we want to go another 19.5 units. What number am I going to end up with if I'm at negative 22 and I am going 19.5 units to the left? Not a trick question. Your silence scares me a little bit. Well, we know it needs to be negative. If you want to just do it with the math, do it with the math. If you like the number line, do the number line. If you're more of a literal people, we can look. That's like the worst thermometer I've ever drawn. Let's just pretend that looks like a thermometer. Let's just pretend. And the temperature right now is at negative 22, typical Winnipeg kind of temperature for this time of year. Negative means the temperature is dropping, and we're dropping by 19.5 degrees. If we're at negative 22 and it is getting 19.5 degrees colder, what temperature are we at? Negative 41.5. Some people like to do math sideways. Some people like to do math vertically. Some people like a diagram. Some people like a number line. I don't care how you do the question. It is completely up to you. I'm just giving you choices. Question number one. The last thing is we just need to answer the question and make sure we have units. So yes, it's negative 41.5, but what are our units? Degrees Celsius. I like to box the answer so it's really easy for the teacher to find, because if she can find it, she can mark it better, which means you get more marks. Negative 41.5. This is a left brain way, a right brain way, a visual way. Do it any way you want that makes sense to you. Number two, read to read. Just pretend this is a sentence in a book. That's all. Don't overthink it. What is it about? Hot air balloon. You might have got kind of a direction. What is it doing first? Going up and then going down. You may not have got that, and that's okay. But what's happening right now is your brain is picturing a hot air balloon. And it's probably thinking about, okay, there's some movement going on. So your brain's recalling all that without you knowing it. If you try to think of the math at the same time, your brain cannot do those, and it's going to end up fighting. Now we pick out the key information. Find the first number. What is it? Now we need to just attach something to that because we don't know the direction it went. So what's the word that attaches? Why are you smacking him on his head with a pencil? That's so bizarre. Could we stop that? Could we keep our pencil to ourselves? I feel like I'm teaching kindergarten for a moment. Find the next number in the question. What's attaching to it? What's about that 10? It's the second, so it just happens to be the unit. Next number is 0.6 meters per second. What's an important word we're going to attach to it? Followed by 6 seconds. Okay, last part's usually the question, so find the question mark, find the questioning word is what? What? Change in altitude. Do I care as a mathematician this is a hot air balloon? I could care less. This is a UFO, an airplane, a helicopter, a hot air balloon. It's regardless to me. I just know something is climbing and descending. Close your eyes. I'm going to read you the words that we just highlighted. Climbed, 0.8 meters per second, 10 seconds. Descended, 0.6 meters per second, 6 seconds. Change in altitude. Do we have enough to answer the question? Yeah, okay. Let's translate it into some math. Change, English word. What does that mean in math? Okay, so if you get change back from buying something, do they add that together and give you the original money plus the change? It's a subtract. And we already talked about that's the subtraction sign. Another word, climbed. So what does that mean in math? What's a good math word? Up, increase, added. I like that. I'm going to use increase just for fun. And if we're increasing something, we're adding to it. Descend. If something is descending, what is it doing? Subtract is going to be eventually here, but let's see if we can connect it to this word here. Decrease. And decrease we know is a subtraction. You don't need to write this every time. This can be something that you think to yourself. I'm just writing it for the first couple till we get an idea. But this is the thought process you're going to as you're decoding the question. You need to think about change as something with subtraction, so I know I'm going to subtract 2 numbers. Climbing is an increase, so I know it's going to be a positive number. Descending is a decrease, so it's going to be a negative number. Now we actually have to figure out what's going on. Well, if you're visual, draw what's going on. Here's a hot air balloon. This is why I don't teach art, right there. First, it's going up. How fast is it going up? For every 1 second, and it is doing this for 10 seconds, so I'm going to multiply. 0.8 times 10. You should do this without a calculator. 8 meters. Now it's coming down. How fast is it coming down? And so mathematically, we've already talked about is we're going to end up subtracting. So we've got a subtracting. We're going to subtract 8 from 3.6. I'm going to do it vertically this time. I did it horizontally before. It's completely up to you how to choose to do the question. You can do a number line. You can do it any way you want as long as you get the right answer. How do we subtract when I'm doing vertically, one number stacked on the other? Right side first. Okay. How do I take away 0.6 from 0.0? Take away 1 from the 8, make it 7, give 1. You've seen this before. That's what I was trying to get out of you. I don't want to be like, oh, and you're like, I've never seen that. So now we have 0.10 minus 0.6 gives us 0.4. Then here we have 7 holes minus 3 holes gives us, oh, close, 4. Have you seen vertically before? Again, if you're like, you can do it this way, you can do a number line, you can do it any way you want. I just like to give you many different ways to do something. Last step is we need to pick out the units. 4.4 what? Dogs, cats, fists, pieces of cheese, what? So is it meters per second or is it meters? We need to think it's an altitude. How do we measure a height? It's just meters, 4.4 meters. This is optional. You don't need to write it. I'm just writing it for the first couple, but that's a thought process you should be going to. This is optional. If you're not into diagrams, don't do diagrams. If you just want to show the calculations, show the calculations. This method is optional, but you need to have some kind of subtraction. So you should be showing me 2 multiplications and 1 subtraction, however you choose to do that. Questions? I gotta be honest, Latif, I'm not loving you sitting back there, because I'm seeing more of the back of your head than the face. So then why are you sitting back there if you can't see? I'm just giving you a heads up. I'm not loving it, so I might have to move you if it doesn't fix itself. I'm just, no defense. Number 3, read to read. Don't overthink it. Just get the context. Start to picture what's this about. Now in read to read, this is what your brain should be doing. A submarine was cruising at the depth of something something. If it rose at blah 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 minutes, what was the submarine's depth at the end of the rise? And that's pretty much what happens in books is we skip over certain things, and that's okay on read to read, because what your brain is doing is what? Picturing a submarine, and it's recalling everything you know about submarines, and if you're trying to do that and highlight the key stuff, you can't do them both at the same time. Now let's pick out what's important. Do I care it's a submarine? No. What word do I care about? Yeah. Perhaps. And what do I care about after depth? Yeah, the number. Next number is 5.5. What's a word I can attach what to 5.5? Awesome. What's the next number? Okay, this is the question part. So what is the question word? What? Close your eyes. Close them. Take a little 30-second nap. Depth of 110 meters. Rose 5.5 meters per minute for 4.5 minutes. Depth at the end. Did we get all the key information? Okay, let's solve it. I'm going to do this part now. Let's just talk about it because I'm not going to write it all the time. Oh, I just gave myself a paper cut. That really hurt. Okay, depth. What does that mean? Perhaps, maybe. Give me something more. What does depth mean mathematically? So if height and altitude meant above, what does depth mean? It means below. So already we should have some kind of idea this is below the surface of the water. Rose. Yes, but mathematically, rose would be the same as increase, which means adding. And then descending, or what does it say? No, it just says rose. That was it. Okay, so we know we're adding something. If you're a picture, oh, don't want to use orange. If you're a picture person, use a picture. If you're not a picture person, don't use a picture. I don't even know if I can draw a submarine. Oh, that's not bad. There, there's a little window. Do they actually have windows? I don't know. Yeah, I would think they would. Where is it right now? What's the depth? What did it do? Almost 4 minutes, or a little more than 4 minutes. And I probably don't want to mix my decimals and fractions. Excuse me, so what's the easiest way to write 4 1/2? 4.5. This would be a calculator question. You notice we haven't used a calculator so far, but decimal times decimal we would allow you. So grab your calcs, do 5.5 times 4.5. The word problem is not that exciting that you need to remember forever. We got some lazy calculator people in here. Like, you're too lazy to take out your phone and open the calculator. Like, I am not your math monkey. I'm not doing this for you. Lazy, lazy people. I love this about teenagers. You're like, take out your phone. You're like, no, I'm too lazy. But we're like, put your phones away. You're like, no, I need it. Say it again. Can we get confirmation on that? 24.75, so maybe. So I want to move the decimal to here. That's why we confirm. What are we doing to the 110? Are we adding or are we subtracting? Why subtracting? What shows me in this diagram I'm subtracting? And look at the arrows. Are they going in the same direction or a different direction? Different direction. So this is going to be 110. It's also right in the question. Again, I'm doing it horizontally this time. Great. If you want to do it vertically, great. If you want to do a number line, you may do it any way you want as long as it works for you. Like, don't everyone shout at once. I'll get all confused. We got an offer of 85.25. Looking for confirmation. That sounds confirmed. We need some units. 85.25 what now? Meters. Show me your thumb so far. I'm getting this. This is okay. I feel okay. I'm a little stressed out. I'm not really getting this. I'm really, really stressed out. Put it really high so I can see. Awesome. Do you understand why I want you to do the read to read, read to understand thing? Right? Just trust me on this. And seriously, bring a highlighter to the test and the exam. Because what's going to happen on exam day? Did you guys do exams first semester? Did you have any? Did you do them in the gym? Yeah. How full was the gym? Okay, so when you're doing grade 9 math exam, the gym is packed. It's also June, so it's hot and sometimes it's stinky, I'm not going to lie. So what happens is you become exam stressed and you're going to go through exam panic. Everyone's been there at some point in their life. You know when you have that moment, everything just goes blank and you're like, oh my God, I don't remember anything. And oh my God, this is 25% of my mark and I'm going to fail and I'm never going to graduate and I'm going to live in a box forever. It's called exam panic. And what's going to happen in exam panic when your mind goes blank is you need something to snap it out. Even notice. Like he's paying so little attention, he doesn't even notice. He still doesn't notice. Hey! What you doing? You, Eric, what are you doing? Yeah, because I've been talking and you've been completely ignoring me. Like completely ignoring me. What you doing? I know, but you're supposed to say, just wait, Miss Thompson is talking. I know, because I say important stuff from time to time. Exam panic, right? So anyway, what the highlighter does is snaps your brain out of exam panic. It picks out those keywords, pops them out. Questions so far? Read to read number 4, then read to understand and pick out the keywords yourself. What things would you like me to highlight? Do I care it's Sam? Do I care who owes you money? I don't care as a mathematician. You might care who owes you money, but I don't care as a mathematician. I care about the numbers. In the question part. This is actually a 2-part question. The first part, what it's asking you to do is compare them, which is what we did 2 classes ago. What? Why do you keep talking? What? What? Like, I'm not loving that back corner because now that's the 3rd time you guys have interrupted me. Is there anything so important that it can't wait? I know, but then now you're interrupting me and now I've interrupted everybody else. Just giving you a heads up, I'm going to have to change this if it doesn't fix itself. See, now I totally lost where I was. Where was I? What was I talking about? Two parts. Thank you. How about you? The first part's asking you to compare, which is what we did last Friday, right? Which one is bigger? So who owes who in the end? Do you owe Sam or does Sam owe you?
I owe Sam.
How do you know? Because the number is bigger. Write that in a sentence however that makes sense in your head. So answer who owes who in the end. So you probably have something like, I owe Sam, and then I want the word because, and then you to fill that in afterwards. You're writing some kind of sentence that probably starts with I owe Sam, and then the word because, and then you're filling that in. Give me a way we could end that sentence. Because. I like that. We could put something even simpler. Because. That's a good one. Because my number is bigger. Okay, how much? What operation are we doing to figure out how much you owe him? Go ahead and subtract 8.11 minus 6.52. Does somebody have an offer? Eric? Sorry, a little bit louder. I just couldn't quite hear that. 159, confirm. What kind of units? Okay, I'm going to blow your little minds now. Are you ready? What's the difference between this and that? What do we call this? Dollar sign. What do we call this? Dollar sign. What's the difference between them? Second one looks better. Okay, why? Why do you think it looks better? What was in the question? So let's look at the symbol that I typed out there. Which one? Yeah, did you even notice that? No, because we as Canadians see both of these. What's the difference between them? Which one is American? This one is American. And I know, did you know that? No, you didn't know that. The symbol actually comes from a U and an S for US dollars. And then we stole it from them, but we were like, no, we're going to fancy it up, take away a bar. So you can actually tell in a store where the pricing gun comes from, depending how many bars it has. Canadian keyboards have 1 bar because it's a Canadian symbol. So if you put this symbol, you are telling me that is American dollars, and the question has told you it is Canadian dollars. Is there a difference? Right now, there is a huge difference between American and Canadian dollars. So make sure you are using Canadian dollars. Something like that.
We answered it with the American one on like a test.
Like I would put like an angry face the first time, like the second time I'm taking marks off. Yeah, like I'd put a sad face, and then I'd be like, whoa. Because I would like to be paid in American dollars right now. I know, did you know that? You probably never knew that. What other countries? There are 2 other countries that use dollars as well. What other countries? So Canada, US, there's 2 others. Not that use dollars. Australia. They also took it from the US because we were both British colonies, so almost at the same time we stole it. So Australia, Canada, US, there's 1 other. It's a hot country. Not Mexico, they have pesos. Kind of in that area, kind of. Not Cuba, they have Cuban pesos. Not Costa Rica, I don't know what they have actually. I think but no, I'm talking like have dollars in their own currency. Not that they use the US. Who has, because there's Australian dollars, Canadian dollars, American dollars, and something other dollars. Think reggae. Jamaica uses dollars. It's the 4 countries that use dollars. Number 5. It's the scary one because it's the longest one. Read to read. Don't overthink it. Paragraph in a boring math book. What's it about? Wooden poles, and what are we doing with them? Tying them together, building a bigger pole. That's all you're going to get on read to read, and that's okay, because what is your brain now doing? Thinking about it. Now let's pick out the keywords. First number, 2.45. Ooh, I like that. 2 wooden poles. Actually, I don't care that they're wooden. They could be steel, they could be plastic, I don't care. 1.23 meters. I like the length. Okay, this is a long sentence. To make a new pole, they were attached by overlapping the ends and tying them together. No numbers in there, but is there any of the words that we need? New pole. Overlapping keyword there. Do we care that they're tying them, taping them, gluing them? No, in the grand scheme of things. All we care is there's some kind of overlap. The overlap was 15 centimeters. Question mark. Question word is what? What? I'm visual, so I'm a picture person, so my natural instinct is to draw a picture. If you're not into pictures, don't draw a picture. I don't care what the poles look like. I'm just going to draw a rectangle because that's good enough for me. And I know I've got another one here, and I know there's some kind of overlap going on. What's the length of one pole? What's the length of the second pole? Why can't I just add those together? Because there's an overlap. What's the overlap? Ooh, centimeters. Ooh. What do I need to do first? Convert it to meters. This is where the decimal part's coming into this question. 1.5 or 0.15 or 0.015. So we're going from centimeters to meters. How many times do we move the decimal? Okay, so here's the cheat way you can know. Is centimeter has the prefix centi, and centi has the prefix cent, which is a French word, and for Frenchies, or know your numbers in French, what does cent mean? No, that's cinq. Cent is 100, that's what it means. If you think of millimeter, mil, what does mil mean in French? 1,000. So knowing that cent means 100, how many zeros does it have? 2. 100 has 2 zeros. It means you move the decimal twice. 1,000 has 3, as I show you 4 fingers, 3 zeros, which means you move the decimal 3 times. So this is going to be 0.15 meters. So what do you want to do here? There is the offer. Add them all together. No, what? I don't know. Somebody said it, so I wrote it down. What's the key word that tells us subtract? Overlap. Okay, so let's just add the 2 poles first. Again, I'm doing it vertically. If you want to do it horizontally, do it horizontally. If you want to do it in a number line, do it in a number line. Don't care. Just find a method that works for you. 5 plus 3. 4 plus 2. 2 plus 1. Now I'm going to subtract off the 15. 8 minus 5. 6 minus 1. 3 minus nothing. Units. That's a weird M? Oh, yours. Okay, very good. Show me a thumb. How you doing? Like I see like 3